What's up, everyone? I hope everyone's day is going fantastic. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here again with me today for another reading and for sharing your energy with the collective. Today we are doing a fun reading. This was actually requested a while back, and I'd been putting it off for a couple reasons, but now seems like the perfect time actually to do a reading for how are you viewed in the bedroom. So your intimate partners, how do they view you in the bedroom? I have a feeling a lot of fantasy things are going to come up as well, but we'll see what we get. Um, I'd been putting this reading off. It was requested a while ago because I didn't have a tarot deck that really fit the vibe the way I felt would be nice for this kind of reading. And recently I had a very, very lovely soul reach out to me and offer to get me decks of cards. And they got me 2 decks of cards. I am still very, very shocked and incredibly grateful, obviously. But the Tarot of Sexual Magic was one of the decks that I was gifted, and I am super stoked to be able to use it for this reading. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. The other deck that I was gifted was the Practical Magic Inner Witch Oracle deck, and this is my first ever Oracle deck, just as a fun fact. I don't own any Oracle decks. I only own very standard divination technique decks, like Lenormand, I have Sibila, I obviously have a couple tarot decks. Um, but anything I have that's similar to like an Oracle deck, I've made myself with like index cards, you know? So it's really cool having my first like official deck of Oracle cards. So again, thank you very much to the souls who did this for me. It was super, super sweet and really out of the blue, and it was an incredibly sweet interaction, and I am so incredibly grateful. Again, I am reminded of the fact that I have a wonderful collective, and I'm very, very lucky for you all. So thank you for being here again with me today for another reading. Having said all that, so yes, we are doing a reading for how are you viewed in the bedroom. Now, obviously, this is going to skew more mature rated. I'll keep it YouTube appropriate, but if you're under the age of 18, or if this kind of intimate discussion is something that you're really not down for, please feel free to watch any of my other videos or to meet me in the next one. Thanks for showing up either way, but I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable by the topic of conversation. That being said, we'll get into the piles. We're gonna have 4 piles as per usual. Pile number 1 is going to be the 5 of Hearts. Pile number 2 is going to be the Jack of Hearts. Pile number 3 is going to be the 3 of Diamonds. And pile number 4 is going to be the 10 of Clubs. All right, and for the collective, we've got the 4 of Hearts. Very interesting. People, you have secret admirers. People feel like they're not getting the attention that they want from you. Secret admirers, people that have crushes on you. As a collective, this is a sign that like there are people who are very romantically interested in you and also very nervous about the idea of approaching you. People fear rejection, and that is coming through very strong. But as I said, I think in the beginning of this, I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of like fantasy energy coming through on top of like what people have actually experienced with you, and that's where this energy is kind of landing. There are a lot of people out in the ether right now who are curious about what you're like behind closed doors and in the sheets. All right, now for the piles again, we've got pile number 1 with the 5 of Hearts, pile number 2 with the Jack of Hearts, pile number 3 with the 3 of Diamonds, and pile number 4 with the 10 of Clubs. All right. Now, pile number 1 and the 5 of Hearts is going to be where we're starting off. I'm getting strong 3 of Swords energy as well. The 5 of Hearts is indicative of 5 of Cups energy. And I'm getting strong heartbreaker energy. There's a lot of heartbreaker energy here. You definitely have more secret admirers than you realize. There are much more people than you realize who are interested in you in a very intimate fashion. If you've been questioning whether or not you've been glowing recently, trust, you have been standing out. There are a lot of people who have been noticing you in a very positive way. Yeah, that energy of people wanting to approach you and not feeling like they can from the collective, it's most strongly manifested in this pile. Like, there are people who really want to approach you, but they're just incredibly intimidated by the idea of approaching you. It's cute in its own way, I guess. You make people nervous. They can't help it. People really want to impress you as well. I'm getting that you yourself are likely a very open-minded person, very non-judgmental. The Five of Hearts, the Five of Cups, it's a card of moving forward from heartbreak and, in a lot of cases, diversity. You're likely someone who's been through a lot in your lifetime, and you come off as someone very experienced and very worldly, regardless of how old you are. And people are intimidated by that. They're intimidated. You make people feel very inexperienced. Again, regardless of how old you are or how much you personally have experienced, like, you make people feel very inexperienced. Especially, I'm getting people who would be considered your peers, like your coworkers, people in your generalized age range, you know what I mean, for the most part. There's something very regal about this energy as well. People see you on a bit of a pedestal is what's coming through, or they put you on a bit of a mental pedestal in their heads. It's why it's really easy for them to work themselves up into like a nervous tenor when thinking about approaching you or about potentially making their feelings known to you. All right. What more can we know, please? What more can we know about how you are viewed in the bedroom? Yeah, I'm getting a lot. The word worship keeps coming to mind. Like, people really want to take care of you and treat you right. And there's a lot of fantasies of that specifically going on in bed. Lots of like pillow talk, lots of like aftercare going on. Aftercare specifically, there's definitely a bit of a kink vibe going on here. Very much a like BDSM sort of vibe, a dom sub sort of vibe happening here from both ends. I get the feeling that there are people from both ends, people who would really love to make you submit to them because you come off as someone so worldly and on top of things, and also people who would really like to submit to you because you come off as so worldly and on top of things. And your energy seems to demand a certain level of respect. It puts you in a very switchy position for people. But yes, getting back to the point, aftercare is coming through. There are definitely people who really want to take care of you. They obviously want to get intimate with you, but there's the added bonus of people really do want to take care of you. Especially if you're someone who is disabled in any way, chronically ill in any way, I get the feeling that there are people out there who really want to like take care of you on your bad days and at your low points. People have fantasies of being able to take care of you when you really need someone to lean on. It's really sweet, actually. It's a sweet sort of fairy tale energy. People want to be able to swoop in and save you. And part of it is because you come off as someone so independent and so capable of saving yourself. It would feel like a gift to be able to save you instead and to get your attention that way. All right, yeah, we've got the Knight of Chalices. Like, the Knight of Chalices is the most romantic of all the knights, and the knight that is presumably on a quest for true love. You know what I mean? Like, people want to come in and sweep you off your feet, regardless of how you identify. There's this desire to treat you really well and to have you falling head over heels in love with them because of that. We've got the Wheel and the Magician. Yeah. And that's a renewal cycle, by the way. The Wheel is a 10, the Magician is a 1. Like, people want to start new things with you. People want to grow things and leave legacies with you. People see you as a very powerful entity into yourself. Like, regardless of what kind of power that manifests as, there's a certain amount of power that you exude that makes people want to respect you. That makes especially people who are romantically interested in you feel like they should respect you. Again, the word worship comes to mind. Like, you may find that you attract very kinky-minded people. But trust, the people that you attract are interested in you on varying levels. You're a very multifaceted person, and the people who are into you are really into that as well. People seem to not be able to tell what they're going to get, kind of like with the Magician and how he can control all 4 suits. People are fascinated by all the different sides to you, and by the fact that they're never quite sure which side they're going to get. Alright. Definitely, people assume, especially from the outside looking in, that you are a little bit of a freak in the sheets. There's the generalized assumption there that you have certain talents behind closed doors. It lends itself to the fact that, again, there are a lot of people who fantasize about getting intimate with you or having intimate exchanges with you. Alright. What more can we know, please? Yeah, people, you're definitely not the type that people like one night stand, hit it and quit it with, though. That much is coming through very clearly. Even people who want to do something like that kind of find themselves still very attracted to you in a way that makes that kind of exchange impossible a lot of the time. Like, you may find that like situationships or like casual hookups aren't really something that work out for you because people catch feelings for you. Like, it's not easy for people to keep you at an arm's distance and only enjoy you physically. Like, people want more of you. They end up really wanting more of your energy. They end up really wanting more of what you have to offer just in general. You know what I mean? Very addictive. You have very addictive energy, and it comes down to both your energy and, for people who have experienced your talents in bed, their memories. Trust, anyone who has ever been intimate with you in that way, they remember. They remember very fondly all of the times that they were intimate with you. I'm getting, you would be shocked at how many people still feel that way about you after like years. Alright. What more can we know, please? What more can we know? How are you feeling in the bedroom? Alright, and we've got the 9 of Swords. Yeah, there are currently people who are still dreaming about you. That much is coming through very clearly, especially between the 9 of Swords and the pile card being the 5 of Hearts. There are people who are thinking about you very strongly right now. If you've been dealing with like restlessness or consistent memories of people or intrusive thoughts of people that you haven't thought about in years, or like difficulty sleeping, crazy dreams when you do sleep of people that you haven't thought about in a long time, like, it might be a good idea to cleanse your area, specifically your bed and where you're sleeping. There are definitely people who are thinking about you very fondly right now and regretting having screwed things up with you. For a lot of you, you can probably expect people to come forward and try to get in touch with you even. Like, that's how people are, like, thinking about you right now. We've got the Knave of Chalices. So the Page of Cups. People feel as though you are divinely oriented to be in their lives. Very much the red string of fate tying you two together, right? I'm getting even people who don't usually believe in that kind of thing. They have a hard time not believing that it was like fate that brought you two together. you may find that you are very often the ideal partner for people. Like, there are a lot of people from a lot of demographics I'm getting who would look at you and what you have to offer as a partner and see you as like the ideal mate. And there are a lot of people who do look at you and look at what you have to offer a partner and see you as an ideal mate. Like, it's very easy for people to romanticize your relationship with them. Like, again, you probably have issues with like friends catching feelings for you. It might be difficult for you to keep friendships that don't become very intimate on a really like soul to soul level, because you're just a very easy person to fall in love with, and it's very easy for people to convince themselves that that love is divinely oriented almost. You know what I mean? It's very sweet. Like, the people who are in your life and in your inner circle, they would do anything for you. I'm getting when people get very close to you, there's almost a level of protectiveness that comes with it as well. Like, people look at you as a divine gift given to them. Even people who don't typically see the world in that light. That's just the impact that you have on people. Especially if you yourself are a more religious or spiritual person openly, trust that you've changed people's minds or altered their views or given them like a point of view outside of their typical mental box to look at things like that in. And we've got the Ace of Chalices, the Ace of Cups. Again, the Ace of Cups is a love at first sight card. Again, there are a lot of people who are very interested in you right now, and it's because you give off the aura of just people falling head over heels in love with you at first sight. Like, even if you don't give yourself that much credit, trust, it is very, very easy for people. I'm getting like the image of like two people making eye contact from across a smoky bar room. You know what I mean? That kind of cliche. Like, people fall head over heels in love with you on eye contact a lot of the time, I'm getting. You also have very pretty eyes. That much is certain. I'm hearing the term bedroom eyes. There's something very sultry about your gaze. There's something very enticing about eye contact with you. People really love staring into your eyes and getting to know you that way. If eyes are the window to the soul, yours are like bottomless, like in the best way possible. People want to get lost in you all the time, especially while they're getting to know you. I'm getting that getting to know you, the getting to know you phase is a lot of fun for people. Even if you're not really interested in it, there are people who enjoy the chase because you are a fun person to get to know in any regard. You're a very unique person, and the more people get to know you, the harder they tend to fall, I'm getting. And we've got the Chariot. And you seem very... This wraps back around to the Five of Cups card being your pile number. You seem very set on your own goals. Like, with all of this energy of people falling in love with you at first sight, it is almost a little bit heartbreaking because you come across as someone who can't be chained down and can't be controlled in any way because you have your own goals. And people really like that about you, actually. The people in your life, the people who are getting to know you, they actually really like the fact that you are so goal oriented and you are so focused on the things that you're doing. But it doesn't stop the fact that people really wish that they could get more of your attention. Like, when you give your attention to people, it does genuinely feel like a gift. Like, trust, there are people who brag about you as their friend. There are people who brag about having been your lover. Like, there are people who still tell stories about the two of you and how you spent your time together. Like, you bring a lot of fun to every situation, and you make people feel blessed to be in your notice and in your energy. Very regal. Again, there's something very regal about this energy. It's very easy for people to put you on a bit of a pedestal. And we've got the Knave of Wands. So you have beautiful hair. Regardless of how your hair looks, you have very, very pretty hair. I'm getting very healthy looking hair. You look very healthy just in general. The Knave of Wands is also indicative of the fact that there have definitely been people who have had certain fantasies about you and indulged in them privately with themselves. Um, People have fantasies about you. There are a lot of people who have a lot of fantasies about you. This has been largely about fantasies I'm getting because you feel almost untouchable for the most part. Like, what is for sure is anyone who you've given your time and your energy to, they feel so lucky to have experienced you. Like, they feel like they hit the jackpot to have those memories to live in. And people do live in those memories. Trust, regardless of how long it's been, people still live in the memories and still enjoy themselves with those memories. Wink, wink. And we've got the King of Swords. I knew that there was going to be a court card coming through. And I'm not surprised it was the King of Swords either. Regardless of how you identify, you have a certain, again, just a certain very powerful aura about you that is very enticing to people around you, and also beckons a certain amount of, again, worship. Like, there are people who fantasize about body worship with you specifically, I'm getting. Like, again, there's definitely dom sub traits throughout this reading. There are a lot of people who would either like to dominate you or be submissive to you. But it doesn't change the fact in either direction that, like, people see you on a very regal level. They put you on a very regal pedestal in their minds a lot of the time. All right. What more can we know, please? What more can we know? How are you viewed in the bedroom? You come off as a bit of an enigma. People definitely want to get to know more about you. They're very curious about who you are behind closed doors, not just in bed even, but like as a person. People developing feelings with you, for you, again, it's not feelings of like a one night stand or a hit it and quit it thing. Like, they really want to get to know you, and they really want to be able to continually have your attention on them. We've got resurrection, recklessness. Yeah, you likely have had people embarrass the hell out of themselves in front of you trying to get your attention. Like, that kind of energy. There are people who have memories that embarrass them to hell and back because they went out of their way to try and impress a person that they were interested in who they potentially barely even knew. Like, there are people who remember you who you have no idea who they even are anymore, probably, because they remember seeing someone that they were very into, trying to impress them and falling flat on their face. Like, you make people nervous. You definitely make especially new romantic interests very nervous. And we've got climbing rosebush, consequences. Very interesting. Now, between resurrection and climbing, and specifically consequences, there are people, and it's come up a couple times in this reading so far, there are definitely people who are missing you right now. People who had access to you, who no longer have access to you, and they're really regretting that fact right now. People who are missing you, people who are wishing that they had another chance to be in your life. And people who are dealing with the consequences of not being good to you when they did have you in their lives. It is very unfortunate. And yes, again, if you've been dealing with any kind of weird energy around you, cleansing might be a really good idea. There are definitely old energies up in your space remembering you and trying to figure out the best way to approach you again. And we've got blood bond connections. Yeah, people who really want to connect with you again, people who feel like it's not over. It can't be over. The whatever was going on between the two of you, the connection that you two had, it's not over yet. Again, people often, I'm getting, put this kind of divine orientation on you and your placement in their life. So it's not a stretch to imagine people also assuming that it's not done. Like, the two of you still have a future together regardless of how far away it is, and refusing to let go of your energy because of it. And we've got the air element, state of mind. You're very intelligent. Between the air element and the King of Swords, you're incredibly intelligent, and it adds to the intimidation, but I'm also saying that people find it really sexy, frankly. Like, people are really attracted to the fact that you are both brains and beauty, regardless of how you identify. Like, people are really into how well-rounded you seem to be. And they're definitely into People are definitely into imagining how that all would translate behind closed doors, basically. That was a really weird moment out of nowhere. People assume that you're really good at like talking in bed too, like any kind of dirty talk that you might indulge in. There are definitely people who would really like to do that with you, especially people I'm getting who you have had relationships with in the past. It was a very specific message that came out of nowhere. Um, Anyway, that is what I've got for you, loves. Thank you so much for being here again with me today for another reading. I hope it was fun. I hope it was enlightening. I will see you next time. Bye. All right, and we're on pile number 2 with the Jack of Hearts. Now, the Jack of Hearts is indicative of Knight of Cups energy. The Knight of Cups is the most romantic of all of the knights, and he's also indicative of Piscean energy. Already I'm getting very soft and gentle energy. The term making love is coming to mind over like any other phrase for intimate activity between the sheets. You know what I mean? Like, people emotionally bond to you and they see physical connection with you in a higher level or in a higher light because of it, I'm getting, for the most part. Like, there are definitely people who have had intimate relations with you before who have seen it as like a spiritual interaction almost, I'm getting. Like, people are very deeply touched by you in a heavily romantic way and in an almost spiritual way. I'm getting that it's really easy for people to fall in love with you, especially once they've been physical with you before. And it's very easy and very common, I'm getting, for people to see you as something of a dream come true. The Knight of Cups energy is also indicative of the fact that there are people who would love to sweep you off your feet. I'm getting strong Rapunzel vibes, actually. Like, there are people who would really love to whisk you away and take you on like a grand adventure far away from the situations that you may have found yourself in. Especially when you are at low points in your life, trust there are people who would love to make you smile and cheer you up and make you feel better. Yeah, getting strong emotional bonding, almost like demisexual energy, where you have to be like emotionally attracted to someone or emotionally attached to someone to feel physical attraction to them. People, it's very easy for people to get in their heads about their feelings for you, is what I'm getting at. And the more people get to know you, the more attracted they are to you on average. Like, you might have issues with like friends falling in love with you, coworkers falling in love with you, people catching feelings for you that you don't reciprocate. It's just very easy to fall in love with you. Like, it's incredibly easy for people to convince themselves that they are in love with you. All right. What more can we know, please? How are you viewed in the bedroom? Yeah, people really want to do intimate things with you. Like, I'm getting images of like showering and bathing together even. Like, it's not just sex here. It's not just like physical relations here. People really want to get like intimate with you. They want to know your body. They want to know what makes you tick. They want to know what pleases you and what you don't like. Like, and people really want to feel intimate with you. All right. What more can we know, please? What more can we know? How are you viewed in the bedroom? How are you viewed in the bedroom? And we've got the King of Pentacles. Very luxurious. And it goes hand in hand. People really want to whisk you away and treat you very nicely. Like, people really want to impress you. There are definitely people out there in the ether right now who would really love a chance to impress you. You definitely make people feel, I'm getting that you're good at making people feel empowered. Like, you're a very good support system. You're probably an incredibly good friend. Like, this is why people fall in love with you so easily, because you make it very easy for them to fall in love with you by being an incredible person. Like, people really want to impress you and show you that they are as selfless and giving and impressive as you are. You know what I mean? Like, there's definitely an energy here of people really wanting to show you the finer world and show you really great things to impress you and to prove that they can take care of you in at least a material fashion. You know what I mean? The King of Pentacles is also indicative of, like, in a lot of ways, for me at least, it's a sugar daddy card in phrases like this. What comes to mind is youthfulness. You make people feel very youthful, regardless of how old they are, regardless of what they've been through in their lifetime. You make people feel incredibly youthful, and there are a lot of people who really appreciate that. And we've got the Knight of Pentacles. The King and Knight of Pentacles. People really like to show you off. Like, there's definitely an energy here where people would really like to show you off. There are a lot of people who, especially when, if they could lock you down, if they could get you cuffed down, they would love to show you off, and they would love to show the world that you are on their arm. Like, people feel really special when you give them your attention, when you give them the time of day, when you show them that you remember the things that you talked about. Like, people love your attention, and they love how genuine you seem to be. You know what I mean? There's also an energy here that, like, it's probably really easy for, like, your coworkers specifically to fall in love with you as well. You're a hard worker and you're good at what you do. And it's very easy for people to morph over from admiring the work you do to just admiring you in general. You have so many more secret admirers than you realize. That much is very clear. Like, there are so many more people who are very into you than you realize. So far, we've only had 3 cards pulled for you, and all 3 of them are court cards. Like, all 3 of them represent actual people. Like, there are a lot of people who are very into you right now, and a lot of people who are really interested in impressing you specifically with what they've got going on. And we've got the 8 of Wands. Yeah, the card of communication. Expect people to start reaching out to you. The term summer loving just came to mind, in fact. I'm currently in, like, the dead middle of summer. But regardless of where you are and when you see this video, it's very much timeless. Over the next couple months, like 2 to 3 months, expect people to start coming forward and trying to woo you. Expect people to start making it clear what their intentions and desires from you are. Like, definitely coming through that there are people who are very interested in you romantically, and they're going to be making their move very soon. At least some of them. You'll start realizing and having those feelings validated. There are a lot of people who are into you. You are worth a lot more than you give yourself credit for. We've got the 4 of Wands. Yeah, the happy honeymoon card. I wonder if I should censor these cards with my hands when I put them up. Didn't realize that. I don't, like, leave them up very long though, so maybe that'll be okay. But the 4 of Wands, the happy honeymoon card. Like, people are interested in you on a very, obviously on a physical level. Don't get me wrong, you're beautiful, and you catch eyes when you walk into a room, for sure. But you keep eyes because you're a very unique and very sweet and wonderful person, frankly. Like, you come off as kind of the whole package, and people want to cuff that down. People recognize the value in it, and they want to get your attention, they want to keep your attention, and they want to see if they can get and keep you. And we've got the Emperor. The Emperor is indicative of all of the King energies. Again, there are a lot of people who are interested in you right now. Between the Emperor and the Knights and the King, however, there's also very much an energy of people. You are likely a very natural leader. You're likely someone who doesn't shy away from authority. You're likely someone who's very good at delegating tasks. You might be a manager or someone in charge of other people at your job. You are extremely like the power that you hold, the way that you hold it, like the way that you hold yourself in confidence, the confidence that you have in general, people find it incredibly attractive. Like, people are super attracted to how confident and specifically competent you are. You're not confident with empty backing, you know what I mean? You're confident because you know what you're doing and you're good at what you do. And there are people who find that to be like the most attractive thing in the entire world. I'm getting like people who are super into that. There are definitely people who would love to, I'm getting strong energy of people wanting to pleasure you, like going down on you. I can't think of euphemisms right now, guys. Like, people want to pleasure you. That's what's coming through. They want to treat you like royalty. They want you to be able to kick up your feet and relax for a little bit. They want to take care of you in a very sensual, erotic fashion. And we've got the Knave of Wands, so the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands, trust me, there are people who very often get intimate with themselves in response to memories that they have of you, in response to pictures that they might have of you two together, especially people from your past. Like, there are people who pleasure themselves often to the memories that they have with you. And for people who don't have memories with you, to the fantasies that they have thought of with you. Like, there's a ton of sexual appeal. Oh, there went my headphone. There's a ton of sexual appeal going on here. And it's going to help drive people towards you. Again, like, there's only so long someone can take before they finally reach out to like actually shoot their shot. Soon you'll have confirmation and validation of just how many people have been into you this entire time. All right. How do I say this? There's a lot of outdoor exhibitionism going on in these cards. I'm getting that fantasy specifically coming through strongly, but just kind of in general, there are a lot of people who would really love to indulge in taboos with you. Like, people who would really love to have intimate relations outside with you, for instance, or like just like potentially kind of risky, adrenaline pumping experiences, intimate experiences. People really want to experiment with you. People really want to be adventurous and explicitly erotic with you. Like, the fantasies that people have of you are very they're very widespread. I'm getting there are a lot of people who would really love to indulge in taboo energy and like kink energy with you. In a good way, obviously, in like a very safe, consensual way, but like, people do really want to experiment with you, and people do really want to try new things with you. They have fantasies of experimenting with you and trying new things with you. Alright. What more can we know, please? What more can we know? How are you viewed in the bedroom? getting strong water vibes too. Both emotional, because obviously people feel very emotional. Like, I think I mentioned this before. There's definitely almost energy of like demisexual energy coming through. Like, people are very interested in you as like a whole person, and the more they get to know you and the more in depth your personhood becomes, the stronger they are attracted to you a lot of the time. I'm getting very, very addictive energy and an incredible person, like multi-layered and faceted person to back it up, to keep people wanting more. We've got lavender, luck and tranquility. Yeah, luck definitely coming through. Even if you don't feel lucky, there are definitely people who see you as being like very blessed, both physically and with like a sparkling personality. Like, we were just talking about this. And more so than you being lucky, people feel very, very lucky to get to know you. There are a lot of people who feel like they are very lucky to have gotten to know you, to have gotten to be involved with you. I'm getting even the energy of like bragging. Like, your name has come up in rooms that you'll never enter before. Your name has come up in rooms that you yourself may never enter, specifically because you have people who really care about you bragging about knowing you and like telling stories about you. Even people whose lives you're no longer in, I'm getting, can't help but tell stories about you because they have really great memories with you. You're a very adventurous person. You come off as a very adventurous person. This is part of why people have fantasies where they get to indulge in their more adventurous kinks with you. You know what I mean? Like, people feel very lucky to know you and to have gotten to know you. And regardless of how the relationships even ended for a lot of these times, they can't help but like hold on to the good memories that they have with you, because people have very good memories with you, both in and out of bed. And we've got the full moon, control. Yeah, I'm definitely getting, again, it's come through a couple times. People definitely want to cuff you down. People definitely want to, they want a certain level of commitment from you. I'm getting, it's not, you're not a one night stand sort of energy. There's very few people I'm getting who would be capable of experiencing you intimately once and not wanting to try that one more time. Like, but as far as control goals, there's definitely people who have fantasized about locking you down and having you cuffed up, like having you committed to only them. There are definitely people who would really love to be on a monogamous, like, person to person relationship with you basis. And we've got the water element. I knew water was going to come out. Emotions. It's because you invoke very strong emotions in people. Like, again, there's nothing. People feel very strongly for you. That's likely not news to you. Like, people feel very strongly for you. That you're likely the kind of energy that people have a very easy time getting addicted to. And it's likely that, like, if people decide that they don't like you for whatever reason, they can't just, like, dislike you quietly or normally. Like, they have to be like very loud about it sometimes. Like, people who get really up in their emotions when you are involved, regardless of whether or not that's good or bad. Do you know what I mean? You invoke very strong emotions in people. It very much feels like both a blessing and occasionally what could be considered kind of a curse, because of just how strongly people respond to you. You know what I mean? Trust that there are people, however, who are very jealous of the fact that you can invoke such strong emotions in the people around you. And trust that there are people who feel very protective of you. Like, by far and away, the people who are emotional about you are positive in their emotions rather than any kind of negative that they may harbor about you. You know what I mean? People have incredibly fond memories of you, even people who you've cut out of your life. They look back and they regret why you cut them out of their life more than they have questions as to why you would leave them. You know what I mean? You're a very loyal person is what's coming through, and people recognize that if you couldn't say that, if you couldn't deal with them anymore, it's not because you hadn't tried or because you didn't try hard enough. It's because it was time for you to move on and they weren't making things easy. Yeah, I don't know where all of that came. There are people who are really missing you. This was actually another theme in like the pile right before this too. Like people are really missing you guys right now. Very, very interested in coming back into your lives. And we've got Black Kitten, inner child. You're a kind person. At the end of the day, you're a very kind person. You're a very open-hearted person, and people see being intimate with you as a blessing. People see getting to be intimate with you, especially consecutively, especially more than once, as like a genuine blessing. You come off as the total package, love. And there are a lot of people who see it that way. All right, loves, that is what I've got for you. Thank you so much for being here again with me today for another reading. I hope it was fun. I hope it was enlightening. I will see you next time. Bye. All right, and we're on pile number 3 with the 3 of Diamonds. Now, the message that comes through with the 3 of Diamonds actually has basically nothing to do with this original reading. But it does feel like a message that I meant to give whoever chose this pile. You are very talented at what you do. You've been putting in a lot of work to something, most likely recently. And if you feel like you've hit a dead end or a brick wall, if you feel like you are hitting obstacles and it's not something that's going to be able to be feasible or carried through, very soon you're going to get a boon or validation that you're on the right path and that you've been doing the right thing. Very soon you're going to get a gift from the universe proving that you have not been wasting your time. There are a lot more people who are invested in your work and invested in you and how you do than you realize. A lot of people are very interested in seeing where you go from here. And a lot of people admire the work that you do. You are a lot more talented than you might give yourself credit for. And soon you'll get validation as to what that talent really means. That was a message completely unrelated to this reading, I know, but it did feel like a message that people were supposed to hear if they picked this pile. So, anyway, getting back to the reading. The 8 of Swords. Very interesting. I don't know if I can show these cards on YouTube. I guess I'll find out, right? But the 8 of Swords is the card of self-entrapment. People feel very nervous around you. There's definitely an energy that people put you on a bit of a pedestal, which matches up. Again, you have a lot more admirers than you realize of your work and of you in general. There are a lot more people than you realize look up to you as a person. And they put you on a little bit of a pedestal. People put you on a bit of a pedestal. You make them feel nervous. No one wants to be rejected by you. And it keeps people at arm's length, I'm getting. It doesn't stop their fantasies, though, however. There are a lot of people who are a lot more interested in you than you realize. Especially romantically and physically. I'm getting strong Queen of Wands energy even. Like, you, regardless of how you identify, you are a very attractive person physically. You are definitely a very attractive person physically. You are very magnetic in your energy, and you make people curious about you. Both about who you are in general, and specifically about certain fantasies that they have about you behind closed doors. People cannot help it. And we've got the King of Chalices, so the King of Cups, the Ace of Pentacles, and the 5 of Wands. Very interesting. Now, the 5 of Wands is the card of competition, and that much is very clear. Again, part of what makes people feel intimidated about trying to approach you is that they feel like there will be a lot of competition. People assume that there are a lot of other people who are interested in you as well, and they're not wrong about that. I'm kidding. You are a very hot commodity as far as people's interests go, whether they're blowing up your inbox or not. Trust, there are people who are incredibly interested in you and just too nervous to approach you about it. The King of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles are indicative of the fact that you also have your own thing going on. You seem like the kind of person that's very hard to detract from what you've got going on and what you're doing within your own long-term goals. You know what I mean? It's part of what people find attractive about you, I'm getting. But it's also part of why they have a hard time, like, actually getting to know you or getting closer to you in any way. Because you seem to have your own direction going, and you seem to be someone who can't be dissuaded from what you have going on. You come off as a very independent person. You come off as someone who's more than capable of taking care of yourself, and I'm getting that it can be tricky for people to try to involve themselves in your life because you seem to be very self-sufficient, all on your own, operating within the circle that you already have. You know what I mean? Again, it makes people nervous. You just kind of make people a little bit nervous when it comes to approaching you, especially in a romantic or physical sense. You're definitely the one that got away for a lot of people, though. That much is coming through very clearly. There are people who really regret not trying to fix things or mend things with you in the past. You've been on a lot of people's minds recently, I'm getting. Alright. What more can we know, please? What more can we know? How are you viewed in the bedroom? How are you viewed in the bedroom? There are definitely people who want to impress you. That much is clear. And we've got the Two of Wands. Yeah, and the way that they're co-conspirating there, like talking to each other across a meal. There are people who really want to impress you. People really want to like wine and dine you. They really want to show you that they have access to the finer things in life. Like, there are people who would go the extra mile to see what you're like behind closed doors. And there are people who are very interested in going that extra mile just to see what you have going on. You know what I mean? There's definitely, again, this energy that you're a very hard person to pin down and you're a very hard person to pull the attention in of. When you give your attention to people on a one-on-one basis, especially like how this is depicting, you make them feel like they're at the top of the world. Like, people feel very blessed to be in your energy, and people, especially people who are romantically interested in you, they feel very, very grateful to have access to you like that. You are I think I've already mentioned this. In fact, you're the one that got away for a definite amount of people. Like, more than one person sees you as like the ideal person that they had to let go of, or that like things ended with for whatever reason. You know what I mean? But these are people who still think about you. These are people who are still interested in what you've got going on, who still wonder where you're at. You know what I mean? I'm definitely getting the sense here that you I feel like this is gonna through for all the readings too. Like, expect messages from people, especially here. I'm getting people from your past. Like, expect people to be reaching out to you and trying to reconnect with you. Not necessarily people who, like, you burn total bridges with, but like people who you kind of lost contact with. You'd be surprised how many people never stopped thinking about you, is what's coming to mind. Like, expect communication from people who you haven't heard of or thought of in a really long time, but they've been thinking about you and they've missed you over the last however long you've been separated. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are definitely people who want to get back in touch with you, who would really shock you to know that they're looking to get back in touch with you. And we've got the Strength card. Again, you come off as someone very independent. You come off as someone who has their shit figured out. You come off as someone who doesn't need extra help. It's part of what can be so intimidating with people. They don't know how to impress upon you just how interested they are in you. You know what I mean? Like, you seem to be someone who is very unique and doesn't respond to the typical kind of like hookup inquiries. You know what I mean? Like, especially for people who would like to come in and sweep you off your feet, you seem far too independent for something like that to work for you or work with you. You know what I mean? You come off as a bit of an enigma. People, and I don't think it's a coincidence that what I've gotten completely so far is how people want to get into your bed. Like, not even how they view you behind closed doors, because a lot of people haven't gotten the chance to view you behind closed doors. Like, what they want is to fulfill fantasies or see how you are. You know what I mean? There are a lot of people who are currently interested in you. A lot of that energy is coming through for this reading. A lot of people who have had fantasies and wonder about what you're like, and on top of that, people from your past who do know what you're like and would really like a second chance with you, both physically and emotionally. I'm getting, you've been through quite a bit in your life. You're very unique too. You've been through quite a bit in your life, and you've come out on the other side a very unique, vibrant person. And there are a lot of people who are really awestruck by that fact. I'm getting like a lot of people are really impressed by how you've managed to turn out so incredibly. Like, I don't think there's any other way to put it. Like, how you've managed to survive everything that you've had to survive up to in this point in your life, and you're still such a kind, generous soul. And we've got the 10 of chalices, the 10 of cups. Yeah, people want to lock you down. There are definitely people who want to lock you down. I'm getting that you may have had issues in the past with lovers or partners being a little bit possessive of you. This is definitely an energy that like people don't want to share you. People want to keep you all to themselves. They want to start whole families with you. They want to start a life with you, and they want to keep you and your energy all to themselves. Um Not in a selfish way necessarily, but in a little bit of a greedy way. People just don't like to share you, I'm getting. They like being the center of your attention. They like being your focus. Like, again, you make people feel very special on a one-on-one basis, and they don't like having that energy interrupted a lot of the time, I'm hearing. The happy family card and the 10 of cups is also indicative of the fact that, again, people want to leave legacies with you. They want to grow and branch out and thrive with you. And they want to have very serious relationships with you, whether it's just a fantasy or people who have had relations with you in the past. One thing that they all seem to have in common is, again, none of them have wanted to share you. No one wants to share you. People want to have very serious long-term relationships with you. And we've got the 10 of pentacles, the 10 of cups and the 10 of pentacles. Like, people want to have long-term relationships with you. They want to have families with you. There there's definitely a little bit of a, I feel like I've already had to say this in this reading. There's a little bit of a breeding kink coming through with both of these. Like, again, people fantasize about, I don't want to say trapping you because it would be consensual, but people fantasize about having kids with you and like assuring in some way that the two of you will always be a family. You know what I mean? Like, there's definitely an energy here that you may have had issue with people, especially romantic partners, being afraid that you're going to leave them, or being afraid that you're going to disappear in the middle of the night one night, like that kind of energy. Or being afraid that they'll lose you to someone else. You know what I mean? Like, you may have found that in your relationship, getting over those kinds of insecurities is really important to have a healthy relationship with you and whoever you're with. And it may be something that happens often. You know what I mean? Um, it stems from the fact that, again, people just don't want to share you. They don't like sharing your energy. People can be very, it can be very easy, I'm getting, for your partners to get very profoundly addicted to your energy and to not want to share that with anyone else. And we've got the 5 of chalices, so the 5 of hearts, or the 5 of cups, I'm sorry. Very much, again, mirroring this almost anxiety of potentially losing you. You come across in a lot of ways as the total package, and you make people feel like they're the center of the earth when you're with them. And I'm getting that if not, like, again, I just said this, like, it can be very common for you that, like, it's important to have a conversation about how people feel very possessive about you, because otherwise it can lead into like further anxieties of them being afraid that you're just gonna up and leave them one day if you have any level of like freedom to yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you may have had to deal with very controlling partners in the past just because people have a very strong desire to keep you all to themselves. On a separate note, however, you're very good at comforting people. Like, you come across, again, as just an incredibly supportive, very, very full-rounded partner. You're really good at supporting people, especially at dark times in their lives, is what's coming through. And it's part of why it's so easy for people to grow, like, infatuated with you, for romantic partners to just grow infatuated with you. I'm not sure if I said it for this pile or for a different pile, but it's definitely coming through for this pile. There's a little bit of a body kink, like body worship kink going on here. Um, the way both of these men are like kneeling in front of her, like regardless of how you identify, there's a little bit of a body worship kink coming through here. There are definitely people who would really just love to touch you. Like, your lovers really like to touch you is what I'm getting. Like, they like feeling you, they like skin on skin contact with you. People find just like your naked body against theirs to be heavily, heavily fulfilling and erotic. Definitely cuddling energy coming through rather than anything like too spicy. People have their fantasies, but more than anything, what they want is to like be able to skin on skin cuddle with you, almost to get that close to you, to be as close to you physically as humanly possible. You have very nice skin. You definitely have very nice soft skin. And we've got the Five of Wands. Yeah, people don't like sharing you. The Five of Wands is the competitor card. People don't like sharing you, and they don't. It can be very easy for people who don't put in the effort, I'm getting, to feel really intensely jealous or paranoid about you interacting with other people. For a healthy relationship, I'm getting that it's something you need to confront early on, that people have these kinds of like unrealistic desires for you to only ever communicate with them, or to like never talk to any other guy or girl. Like, you may have had to have the conversation several times before in different relationships, that like it's not healthy for people to be that possessive of you. All right, what more can we know, please? What more can we know? How are you viewed in the bedroom? All right, and we've got the climbing rosebush, consequences. Very interesting, and it comes up right over the strength card, highlighting again the fact that you are an incredibly independent person. You deal with all of your consequences on your own, and you do it on your own esteem, I'm getting. There are definitely people who have had fantasies of being the ones to swoop in and save you when you least expect it, or swoop in and offer you assistance when you really need it and you feel like no one else is there for you. Like, people have fantasies of white knighting you is what's coming through. Like, there are certain people who have fantasies of being there for you at your darkest hour and saving you from the consequences of some brutal thing. You know what I mean? People want to impress you. You come off a little bit like a superhero yourself. I'm getting that you're an incredibly well-rounded person. You've got a lot going for you in life. People want to be able to impress you the way that they are impressed by you. You know what I mean? People want to be able to save you the way that they feel you would save people that you had the ability to. Strong superhero energy coming through, actually. People really admire you on a very deep level. Like, people have very high expectations for you, I'm getting. It's very interesting, and it contributes to why people are so interested in you. You're a fascinating person, that is for sure. And we've got divination, beyond the veil. And divination coming up right over the Ten of Cups. People feel like you are divinely oriented to be in their life. Again, this is part of what makes people very possessive of you and your energy a lot of the time. Like, it's very easy for people to convince themselves that you're meant for them, you are built for them. Like, you come across as a full-rounded partner just in general. So the way that you fit into someone's life, the support that you give them, the love that you give them unconditionally, it can make them feel like you were meant for them. You check off all these boxes, you fill all these dreams, you know what I mean? When really it's just you being yourself and you doing you. But there are a lot of people who definitely feel like you were a gift to be put in their life. And we've got phone tree, community. Yeah, doubling down. There are a lot of people who feel like you are a gift that was put in their life. Like people who really admire you, and even if they never get a chance to be romantic with you or physical with you, they'll always view you as some of the best people, as one of the best people in the world. And we've got circle around the moon, change. Very interesting. Change when matched with the five of wands for the bottom of the other deck. You are going through a transformative period right now, and people are very curious to see how you're going to come out on the other side of things. There are a lot of people who are curious to see how this transformation is going to affect you, and a lot of people who are really excited because they've seen you transform before. I'm getting that transformations are nothing new for you. They've seen you transform before, and you always just come out better at the end of things. This, in fact, wraps back around to the message I got at the very beginning of your pile that had very little to do with the actual reading. Like, there are definitely people who are calling the fact that you are maturing and growing very quickly right now, and they're excited to see how the changes come about and manifest for you on the other side of things. All right, loves, that is what I've got for you. Thank you so much for being here again with me today for another reading. I hope it was fun. I hope it was enlightening. I will see you next time. Bye. All right, last but certainly not least, we are on pile number 4 with the 10 of clubs. Now, the 10 of clubs is indicative of 10 of wands energy. So already, regardless of how you identify, people find you to be very strong and healthy. Your body, your complexion, how you look very strong and healthy to the people around you. Yeah, we've got the Queen of Pentacles and the Hermit. People really want to feel you. We'll go with that. People are really interested in feeling and touching you. This has been a common thread through all of the readings, I believe, but I'm getting strong, like, body worship energy here. People really want to be able to touch your body and be intimate with your body in that way, like slow, luxurious. I'm getting like massage energy, almost like sensual massage energy. People would really like the chance to please you. There are a lot of people who would really love the chance to please you. Not necessarily that you have dominant energy coming through quite yet, but there is a very strong, like, sensuality to people taking care of you. People want to take care of you in a very sensual way. I'm getting your mouth. People really like your mouth, and people are very curious about what kissing you, tasting you, and anything else with your mouth would be like, especially people on the outside looking in. People who have kissed you before absolutely adore how you kiss. They love how your mouth feels on them, or wherever your mouth goes. You have a very talented tongue, is definitely coming through. We should probably leave it at that. Alright. What more can we know, please? What more can we know? How are you viewed in the bedroom? Alright, we've got the 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, very luxurious. People want to put you, I'm getting a lot of like earth energy. Again, people want to put you on a bit of a pedestal. People want to touch and kiss every inch of your body. Body worship. People really want to be able to be intimate with you on that level and to get to know every inch of your body in a very intimate fashion. If you are someone who puts out content at all, People really love the content you put out. People really, really love the content you put out. Don't stop putting out the content that you put out. This is definitely the most like straightforward sexual of all the piles so far. People have really fond memories of being in bed with you. Whatever you do, you're very good at doing it. And people who have been in bed with you before definitely want to try it again. They would definitely love to have more access to that. And we've got the Six of Wands. Strong trophy wife, trophy husband, however you identify, vibes coming through there. People want to show you off. The people who have been with you before, the people who fantasize about being with you, they really want to show you off. This is definitely not the energy of wanting to keep things private and behind closed doors. Like, when people get your attention, when people get access to you like this, they are very proud of themselves. Like, it feels like a blessing. It feels like a gift I'm getting. People are very proud of themselves and they want more of that. Like, they would love to show you off. People would love to have you on their arm. Like, definitely not the kind of relationship that people want to keep on the down low a lot of the time. I'm getting like people are very proud of themselves for having scored you and very shocked about having scored you. And we've got the Four of Wands. Yeah. um People want, the Four of Wands is the honeymoon card. People would love to lock you down. I'm definitely getting that energy. People would really love to have you locked down. And people would really love to live in like endless endless honeymoon energy is what's coming through here. Like, people definitely fall very head over heels in love with you to the point where they feel like they could have like an endless honeymoon period with you is what's going on. Like, again, you come off as very much the ideal mate, and they're trust that people are very into your body, by the way. Like, however you wear it, however you look, you have an incredibly nice body. And people don't like to keep their hands off of it when they're your partner, is what's coming through. Like, I'm getting lots of like PDA energy, a lot of like public displays of affection. Like, people really love showing the world that you're theirs, and people really love reminding the world and you is what's coming through that you're theirs, and like a very in a very sexy way, frankly. Like, not in a, it can sound kind of controlling, but it's not meant to sound controlling. It's meant to sound like, again, sexy. Like, the people who are you're with, the person that you're with, they don't like taking their hands off of you. They love having their hands on you. They love being close to you and physically touching you. Like, and there is definitely a strong touch energy going on here. Like, people really love touching you. People love feeling your skin. People love feeling you touch them. People really like touching you. I think I've already gone through this, but it feels very earthy. It feels very like physical oriented, you know what I mean? Like like sensual massages, like rubbing down your partner or anything like that. Like, that is the slow, easy energy that comes through here. People really want to take their time experiencing you and take their time getting to know every inch of your body. And we've got the Eight of Wands. Very interesting. There are people who want to connect with you, people who really want to reconnect with you is what I'm getting. I'm getting like Six of Cups energy with it too. Like, people really want to reconnect with you. There are people from your past who are still thinking about you, who likely never stopped thinking about you, who would really like to get back in touch with you and see if they can have another shot. Like, you are definitely a very unforgettable energy, even outside of people. Like, anyone who has had physical relationships with you, trust, they remember that. That's something that they remember, and it's something that they cherish as well. But even outside of like the physical intimacy, you are an unforgettable presence. Like, there are people who have had conversations with you who will always have a little bit of a crush on you, regardless of whether or not they ever meet you again. because you left a very deep impact on them. Like, people remember you when you walk into a room. People remember your face, they remember your personality, they remember what you have going on. You're just a highly memorable person. And there are people who hold that memory to you for the rest, memory of you to themselves for the rest of their lives. Like, again, people from your past who likely never gave up on trying to get back in contact with you one day. People from, like, your graduating schools, old friends, anything like that. You know what I mean? People don't let go of your memory very easily. People are very drawn to the memories that you built together with them. You're a very unique person. And I'm getting especially people who have tried to find your uniqueness in other people. They they've been sorely disappointed. That feels mostly like an ex thing, though. Like, you might resonate with the idea of your ex dating someone who looks or acts exactly like you after you guys broke up, and how kind of odd that can be. Like, that feels like something that may have happened to a couple of you before. And we've got the King of Wands. The King of Wands, you definitely stand out in a crowd. King of Wands is Leo energy. Whether you like it or not, whether you try hard to or not, I'm getting that you definitely stand out in a crowd. People notice you when you come into a room, and people don't forget you. Again, we were just talking about this. People don't forget the energy that you put off. They don't forget the things that you say. A lot of people don't forget your face or how you look. You know what I mean? You leave very deep impacts on people, regardless of how long you've known them. It's part of why I'm getting that, like, one night stands with you, even for people who mean for that to be the thing, are kind of a no-go. Like, people underestimate just how addictive your energy can get. Like, you may have experience with something like that, with, like, a situationship that, like, wasn't supposed to even be a thing ever for you, evolving into something much bigger because people can't help but catch feelings for you. It just kind of happens. All right. What more can we know, please? What more can we know? How are you viewed in the bedroom? And we've got the Queen of Swords to match the King of Wands energy. Yeah, very, very royal, very regal energy going on there. People have an easy time putting you on a bit of a pedestal, though. And I think part of it is the kink. Like, again, we've talked a lot about body worshiping in this particular reading. Like, part of it is a part of the kink. Like, there are people out there who would love to worship you on a very physical level. They're very into the level of, I'm not necessarily authority, but the level of confidence you seem to go through life with. Like, the Ten of Wands, that was your pile card number, or that was your pile card. It speaks of someone who will take all of the responsibilities onto their shoulders. The King of Wands actually kind of reflects that as well. You know what I mean? You are someone who doesn't shirk your duty, you don't shirk your responsibilities. You walk through life with even if it's not real, you walk through life with a confidence that's very awe-inspiring to a lot of people, I'm getting. And it makes it easy for people to put you on a bit of a pedestal, to put you in like a position of authority in their own heads, even. You know what I mean? You're definitely the kind of person that people look up to. This is the kind of energy that, like, even if you're not a manager or anything like that at your job, even if you don't have any level of authority, people still come to you because they know that they can trust you to help them. Like, you don't need official authority to have authority within your peers, because people recognize the fact that you're both reliable and very knowledgeable at what you do. It's easy for people to put you in a position of authority in their mind because of that. I'm getting that you're also a very humble person, though. Like, you're likely someone who is very humble about all of your talents. And that's really attractive for a lot of people. I'm getting it makes you approachable. It makes it easier for people to approach you because you can be a really intimidating person. I'm getting it comes with the territory of being like a very responsible, on top of the ball person, you know what I mean? You can be a little bit intimidating to people, but people still recognize the fact that like you're a very humble person at the end of the day. People really admire you, is what's coming through. Like, you have a lot of respect from your peers, both at work and just in, like, your day-to-day life. And we've got the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords coming through. You may have been being a little bit too harsh on yourself recently. The Seven of Swords tends to pop out to highlight imposter syndrome. You may have been being a little bit too harsh on yourself, especially over the last couple weeks. You're doing a really great job, and there are a lot of people who recognize that you're doing a really great job, even if they're not saying it out loud. You are exactly where you're supposed to be, and if you've been dealing with imposter syndrome lately, then this is your sign that like it's it's just something that's in your head. You're very good at what you do, and you've been putting in the effort, and you will see the rewards for it coming to you very soon. The Seven of Swords in this particular context of the reading, however, also encapsulates the fact that you're a very charming lover. People find you to be very charming. You're likely a very complimentary lover. Like you come across as someone who's very supportive just in your day-to-day life anyway. You are likely a very supportive and praising lover, basically. Like, you're very open with praise, you're very open with affection with people when you're in bed or when you're behind closed doors, and it makes people feel all warm and fuzzy inside. You're a very charming person. People are very easily charmed by your presence and by what you have to say. I'm getting that it comes really naturally to you too. Like, you're very naturally a smooth talker, and if that's not the case, you come off as someone, like, you make it look very easy. You come off as someone who's very much a smooth talker. And we've got the King of Swords. The King of Swords to match the Queen of Swords in the second row. You're very well balanced. People find you to be incredibly well balanced between both your masculine and your feminine sides, both your yin and yang sides. It makes you a really good leader too. Again, regardless of whether or not you're in a position of power, you're definitely the kind of person that people look to when they need assistance or when they need guidance. It happens kind of automatically because people really respect you and they respect what you have to say, especially in regards to the job that you're doing or the thing that you're putting the most energy into. And we've got the Two of Chalices, the Two of Cups. You are people want to lock you down. People want to lock you down, and again, there's this energy that you may have issue with people wanting too much to lock you down, even people wanting to cuff you down a little bit too badly. You're a very easy person to fall in love with, though, and I'm getting that once people get in your bed, once it gets physical, it's done. It's cinched. Like, people have lost the war already. They've fallen for you. I'm getting that you're a very... what's the word I'm looking for? A very detail-oriented lover. You remember things about your person. You remember what they like. You remember what they don't like, both in and out of bed. Like, you're a very conscientious lover in every sense of the word, and you take care of the person who you're with. All right. What more can we know, please? What more can we know? How are you viewed in the bedroom? Amos Veritas, manifest. Manifest, I'm getting in terms of magic. You come off as someone very magical. You also come off as someone very empathetic. Like I'm getting like mind reader almost. Like you've definitely unnerved people before with how well you seem to look into their heads, especially when you're being intimate with them. How well you seem to look into their heads and read them. You're very good at reading people, and you're very spot on with your conclusions a lot of the time. I'm getting. You make people feel seen and heard. You make them feel special. People feel special when they get a chance to be with you. People who are in monogamous relationships with you feel like they've hit the jackpot most of the time, because they kind of have. And we've got cauldron, transformation. Yeah, you come into people's lives and you change them. I'm getting, like, again, people fall head over heels in love with you very easy, and it's very easy for them to allow you to change their point of view or allow you to open up their prospects to the world. You know what I mean? You're definitely a good, even for the people who don't necessarily believe that you're divinely oriented to fit into their life, it's hard for people to deny the fact that knowing you has changed them for the good. You change the people around you in positive ways, very positive ways, and they are very grateful for it most of the time. And we've got Halloween, magic. I knew magic was going to come out, just like with the manifest. Yeah, you're very magical. You make people believe in brand new things. You bring magic into life everywhere you go. And we've got Firefly, auras, and observe. Specifically, auras coming through here. You highlight the best in people. People love being around you. Your partners love being around you because you see the best in all of the people around you, and you highlight the best in the people around you. You're very good at making people look good, regardless of what kind of relationship you have with them. When you choose to support someone, you support them all the way, and you're very good at making them look good while you do it. All right, loves, that is what I've got for you. Thank you so much for being here again with me today for another reading. I hope it was fun. I hope it was enlightening. I will see you next time. Bye.